Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is January 19th, 2024, and this is episode 84. Today for you, I have What Am I Wearing? Finished Objects, Works in Progress, Stash, Events, and some chatter. My name is Roz, and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada, with my husband and my two kids who are 13 and 12. What else do I want to say? My notes are over there today. Thank you to all you returning viewers. I really appreciate you coming back for another episode, and welcome to any new viewers. I hope you enjoy my little crafty adventure corner. Let's get started with the episode today. What am I wearing? Today I am wearing my Ease sweater. This is Ease. The pattern is Ease. E-A-S-E. I'll put it down here, by Alicia Plummer. I did modify the neckline just to have a ribbing neckline instead of the kind of funnel neck. The gauge that I was getting with this yarn made a very stiff neck, and that's not what I wanted for a sweater. So instead of doing a nice floopy kind of neck, I just did a regular neck instead, and I wear this all the time. I love it. The sleeves are the perfect length. They come down just to that bracelet length, so I don't get them wet when I do dishes or anything, and they don't get in the way of my keyboard while I work. And it's worsted weight, so it's super quick. This yarn is the Patons Classic Wool worsted in the dark gray marl. So it is multiple plies held together to make this dark gray with the specks of, it's like a creamy white in there. Anyway, this is a very, very well-worn sweater. You can see by all the pilling that is happening on here. I really should get myself a gleaner, but anyway, I love this sweater and I wear it all the time, and it's a good thing because it is very, very cold outside and snowy. I just looked outside and I'm like, oh, there's a mountain of snow falling currently, and we got to go pick the kids up in an hour. So I'm going to have to make this episode quick so that I can get out and shovel before we have to drive. Or maybe my husband will shovel. We'll have to see. Let's move on to finished objects. I have one finished object this week, and some of you may guess it. My litmus cowl is finished. So the pattern that I used for this is Litmus Cowl, and it's by Jude of Stranded Dye Works. And it's a fairly straightforward pattern. This is the second one that I've made. This was made out of Malabrigo Caprino in Gris and Azure Profundo, which is the blue. They're both very tonal colors, and I think this turned out lovely. This is for my husband. My only complaint is this. So obviously when I put it in to soak, some of the blue, there was one spot of blue that left some dye on the gray. That seems to be the only spot, and it was definitely folded over on itself in the bowl. So I just put that to the inside, and then you don't see it, and it looks beautiful. I will put in a picture here of him wearing the cowl. He's worn it every day. He's probably looking for it right now, but I have it here to show you guys. This yarn is so soft, and I am trying to figure out how to make a hat for myself out of the leftovers because so nice, so nice. It did grow a bit more than I was expecting. Of course, I didn't swatch because it's a cowl and I just decided to cast on and go. So it did grow a bit more, so it's a bit looser than what he was hoping for. I did talk to him about the option of taking out one of the sections of color or two of the sections of color, and then he could have a tighter fitting cowl if you wanted, because I did graft the end together. And now I'm like, oh, there it is. It's not bad. The yarn got really loosey-goosey as I was doing the stitches there, but because you do a provisional cast on and then you graft it together to finish it off. But it's done and dusted, and he is enjoying wearing it. So that's my only finished object for the week, and we'll move on to works in progress. First up is another hat. I enjoy having some just regular round and round knitting for my on-the-go knitting, and my go-to pattern currently is the Musselburgh hat. This is a pattern by Ysolda Teague, and I had some DK left over in this very fun color. I knit a hat for my nephew a couple years ago out of this. This is Dying to Please in their Superwash Merino, and that it is a DK weight, and this is Amalfi Coast. Not sure what that refers to, but anyway, yeah, it's made some interesting pooling as the increases went there, and now I'm just at the roundy part. I think it's going to be like a big an adult medium maybe. I only have this much left of this color, but I also threw in this bag some leftovers from Ginger Snap's Squishy DK. I did the Cozy Up make-along, mystery make-along a few years ago, and I have whatever left. What is it? So there's like a light gray, dark gray, black, and a teal, and I'm just going to, throw in the next color as I'm going along, and just see how far I can get with all those leftovers and see how much I can use them up. And it's perfect on the go knitting because I'm at the point where you just go around and around and around. You don't have to think about it. So I've made the Musselburgh pattern before. It is a double layer toque and with fold up brim. So I am doing that length again. I think the ones with the fold up brim stay on your head better than the ones where it just comes down. I feel like you don't get that snugness on your head, and you don't want a hat that's just like falling off all the time. It's no fun. That is it for that work in progress. With finishing the cowl, I picked up one of my languishing works in progress, and I've made a fair bit of progress on it. And I can't stop staring at it, you guys. Oh, it is beautiful. This pattern is Traveling Woman by Liz Abinate, and it is a crescent-shaped shawl, and I started it in the summer. This was one of the projects that I took on our summer adventure. This yarn is Gauge Dye Works in the Shawl MCM Fingering Self-Striping. This color is called Peacock, and I'm going to pull out the rest of the ball because it is also beautiful. So you go through these kind of teal colors into this. It's more of like almost a purpley blue. A really royal blue is what it's going to end with. And yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited indeed. So I've had this for so long, and I'm so happy to be using it up. And this kind of crescent-y shawl shape I enjoy wearing a lot. Oh, loving it. And of course, this is going to have to be blocked out, but you can get the idea if I stretch it out there. Yeah. So I've been working on that in the evenings while we're watching TV or something, as it does require, it's not a complicated chart, but it does require some counting. I'm getting into the rhythm of it. I'm in the third repeat of this pattern. There's 4 repeats of that pattern, and then you do the border. Cross my fingers I have enough for the size that I picked. I should have enough. I may just have to, finish it in like another dark blue, which I'm sure I have a ton of in my stash. So that is the Traveling Woman shawl. And the last one is, my last work in progress, is my Choose Your Own Adventure shawl, which is part of the Northern Knits Knit Along. This is a pattern by Jocelyn Douglas. Well, it's under her name, but also Diana's helping design it as well. And if you don't, I'm started clue 2. So if you don't want to see it, if you don't want to be spoiled, then look away now. So this stitch marker way down here is where I last showed it to you, and with this lovely stitch pattern. So I've completed all of that, the transition section to the yarn number 2, and now we're in this lovely, I didn't pick, the quiz got me the Jocelyn section, which is this lovely eyelet lace. It's so rhythmic and repetitive. I love it. It is definitely, like with the busy yarn, you don't see it as much, but I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So this is a kit that I got from, whoops, it's tangled, Fireweed Fiber Co. This is her Sweet Pea sock, which I do have a ton of now. And this set is 6 skeins, and it's called Dreams of Winter. So it started off with this much more white. This one is much more like a charcoal-y and purple color. And then we move into an even more black and purple. And then we just, I'm trying to hold them up in order here. And then we just get more saturated as we go along. So I'm very excited about this. I got to put these away. Sorry. Otherwise, I'm going to forget what order they go in, although it's pretty obvious. But yes, so this is coming along nicely. I've got quite a bit of the eyelet section to go, and it is getting bigger. Each row is getting longer and longer, and it'll be a lovely, huge triangle shawl when we're done. Asymmetrical triangles are not my favorite shawls to wear because I find that the ends don't hang down enough, but I think with a 6 skein shawl, I'm gonna have plenty of shawl to wrap around my neck and hang in any which way that I want. So that is it for my works in progress, and we're gonna move on to stash. For stash, I just want to do a quick review of my total in and out for last year, and then kind of a quick overview of what types of projects I finished versus previous years, how many sweaters, blah, blah, blah. So we'll start with my December numbers. Of course, were very high because I got a sweater quantity, this 6 skein shawl that I just showed you from the Choose Your Own Adventure shawl, 2 advents, and my December sock club. So in December, I received 10,528 meters. I did finish quite a few projects. I had the baby sweater, the toddler sweater, a hat for Cooper, and the mitts for my husband, which was 893 meters total. So not very much compared to how much came in, but that's okay. My total in for the year, so the entire year of 2023, I purchased or received 32,628 meters, and I used up 17,967 meters. Hopefully I'm putting these numbers up on the screen for you so it makes a little bit more sense. So my final difference is that I only added to my stash 14,661. So, you know, that's pretty close to what I purchased in the summertime, was about 12,000 meters. So only a little bit more if you exclude all that vacation yarn that I wouldn't have otherwise purchased because of, you know, being on that trip across Canada. So that's all very interesting. And now let's take a look at how many items I knit for each category. All right, I've got my notes a little bit behind me here, so hopefully you'll bear with me while I figure out how to read and look at the camera at the same time. So for 2023, I knit 4 cowls, 4 shawls, 1 blanket, 1 top, 1 set of mitts, 23 hats, 8 sweaters, including child-size sweaters, so this is any sort of sweater, 1 toy, 4 pairs of socks, and 8 other items. So that could be like a dice bag, or and this is knit and crocheted all together. My total numbers of all the projects that I worked on. Headbands, things that don't really fit into any of the other categories, I put in other. Leg warmers, I don't know if I knit any of these this year, but I do have some very interesting numbers, and I will put a screenshot in here. I'm not going to read them all out to you. I have my numbers from 2018 up to and including 2023. I know numbers. So it's very interesting for me to see my progression over the years. This year I knit 55 projects, but I did knit a lot of hats. 23 I think is a lot of hats. So, you know, the total meters that I have marked in 2023 is different than the total meters in my book. And I think that's just because of like the overlap from things in 2022 versus 2023. Anyway, so numbers, they're all interesting values. They don't really mean anything at the end of the day because I knit for the fun of it, which I'm hoping you do too, or the stress relief, or something positive in your life that you can accomplish. I keep looking at my knitting because it's right here. I just want to pick it up. Let's move on to my plans for 2024. I'm going to pick up my book again. So for 2023, I also had 3 kind of, I don't want to say goals, but kind of guidelines on what I wanted to have happen that year. So I wanted to have more out than in. That didn't happen. I wanted to have plans for incoming yarn and document it. I definitely did that. I purchased things more intentionally. Like the sweater quantity I bought at the end of the year, I already know which sweater I'm going to use, and you know, I already have it in my queue in Ravelry, which I love using. I know not everybody can use it, but I love to organize my queue, match everything with the yarn that I'm going to use. And my third kind of goal was start projects from my queue. I think I needed to have these goals like printed out somewhere more that I could see them, because I just wrote them in the beginning of my fun book that I got from my friend Tracy, and I hardly ever looked at them. Along with my bingo card. Earlier in the year, I was really good about looking at my bingo card, figuring out the kinds of items that I wanted to make this year, and then picking a new project based on those. And then the summer came along and that all went out the window. I'll put up my bingo card here. I did get 3 lines, so I am very happy with that. And I have also created a bingo card for this year because I just think it's fun. It's an interesting thing to do, and hopefully I will remember a little bit more to check it and look at it. And yeah, so you can see that happening now. So I'm not going to have any like strict goals for this year. Obviously, I still want to continue to track how much yarn I purchase versus how much is going out of my stash. Oh, that was the other thing about my numbers from 2023 is that I did reclaim some projects. I had knit Taylor a like a mermaid tail blanket thing, and I repurposed most of that yarn into my simple hug cardigan. I have another piece, a poncho that I made for her that she just doesn't wear, and I would really rather make that into something that somebody is going to wear, because there's no point in it just sitting in her closet. At the time, she really wanted it, and I was really hesitant because I didn't think she would have opportunities to wear a poncho, and I was right. So I will either make it into a sweater for her or a sweater for myself, maybe. We will see. I think that's about it for stash. I have had 0 stash come in this month. The other thing is I'm not doing the monthly sock club from Fireweed Fiber Co. this year. This cubby right here is full of all of the yarns from the last 2 years. And I really feel like I want to focus on stashing down, and I have so much beautiful yarn. And I love, love, love her colors, and I will definitely be getting more in the future. Clearly, I love her color sense. It is my kind of palette. I have the shawl that I'm doing right now. I keep looking over here because I've got this lovely yarn, which you would have seen in a previous episode. This is going to be a sweater along with some mohair, and I have lots of plans for her yarn and a bunch of the yarn in here as well. So I'd like to get on with doing that and not be tempted by the incoming yarn that is also beautiful. That's it for stash. Let's move on to events. The only event that I have to talk to you about this week is the Downseller Studio Pigskin Party for 23-24. There is the rest of January and a little bit of February left, so there's still time to join this knit along. You can find out all the details down below at the link to the Downseller Studio website. This is a Imaginary Points knit along. It coincides with the football season, but you don't have to know anything about football, and it is super fun to participate in. Ooh, that reminds me, I gotta put Mike's cowl in there now that I've got nice finished object photos and the final weigh-in and all that. I don't know what else I was gonna say about that. Yeah, if you're interested, feel free to check it out. It's a great community, lots of people active. You also have a smaller team that you can just chat with them instead if you like, so it's not so overwhelming. There's monthly challenges and things like that, so definitely check that out if you're interested. And we will move along to chatter. For chatter this week, I'm going to start off with my weather update. It has been really, really, really cold and really, really snowy. The snow dump, it is currently dumping outside, like not just sprinkling cute snow. It is time to hibernate for winter, and I wish that I could just sit in my chair and knit. However, we have to get children to school, Mike has to get to work, we need groceries, all those fun things, so we have to shovel the driveway. It is my least favorite winter activity, and it's also very hard on my back and my shoulders, and I haven't been training to do that. I do a lot of walking and I do a lot of stretching, and I love my tap dancing class, none of which prepare me for shoveling snow. But it has to be done. At least I have good gear for it. We all have Baffin boots, which are very good and warm and with good grip, so our driveway is very slanted, so we need those to do that. We have proper shovels and all that stuff. However, it's been snowing a lot overnight, which means that we all get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. The kids go over and do our neighbor's driveway, and I have to do our driveway so that Mike can leave for work on time. We've been doing the driveway together, which has been working out really well. But it's a lot of work, and yeah, I just want to sit around and watch TV and do nothing else. Well, it's probably all the time in the year, but it just feels a lot more like I don't want to be out there doing that right now. I have finished a book this week. I finished Chaos Magic by TJ Green. This is number 8 in the Whitehaven Witches series. I have thoroughly enjoyed this entire series. There are a couple spin-off sub-series that I could read, but I am going to give this one a little bit of a break, and I started something in an entirely different genre, historical romance instead of high fantasy. So, it's fun to read different types of books every now and then. I did look at my stats for my books for last year, and I read 50% classified as a romance novel. Well, they were tagged as romance. So some of the fantasy that I read is also romance, and some of the historical romance or cozy romance are also classified as tagged as romance. So, but 50% of the books that I read were romance, and then 35% were fantasy. So you can see what areas I enjoy the most. Also, this past weekend, we got a new washer and dryer. Our old ones were rusted and leaking and causing errors and just stopping randomly. So we decided to, with all the deals that were happening just after Christmas, we got a new washer and dryer. Mike installed them. The installation was fine, and he had to go to only had to go to the hardware store once, but carrying them up and down the stairs, thankfully we have a friend who came to help Mike deal with those. Costco came and delivered them and brought the new ones all the way upstairs and didn't do too much damage to our walls, which were already damaged from our fridge delivery. So now that those are delivered, I think we might actually paint the walls and get them fixed up and get the gouges out of them. But they are installed, they're working great. They have an app on your phone, so I get a phone notification when my washer is done or my dryer is done, and I am not forgotten about things that just sit in there for hours and hours because I've forgotten about it, because it pops up on my phone, which is also very helpful. The other things that happened are sort of weather related. I talked a little bit about the snow. We also had a very deep freeze right before we got so much of the snow. And we have a window box in our kitchen, and it actually froze on the inside. So I'll include a picture at the end. You can see some of the ice because of the moisture in the air. It's not normally a problem, this window box. It does stick out from the house and it's not insulated in any way because it's a window box. And normally in the summer, it's great and kind of collects heat and helps heat the kitchen a little bit. But in the winter, apparently, when it's minus 20, it freezes. And unfortunately, because the water froze, and then during the day when it was hot enough in the house and the sun was shining on it, the water melted. It created this whole area of black mold that I've had to deal with. Anyway, it's been a whole thing. I used a bleach solution. I think it was vinegar and bleach and a bit of dish soap. And basically, so you clean up as much as you can, and then you like sponge it on to kill whatever is left. And it has worked really well. There's like hardly any of it left, mostly in the like corners, which is really hard to clean out. I think I'm going to have to get some sort of pick tool to clean all of that out. But I am going to just continue to put bleach on there, spray it on, dab it on with a sponge, once a week, just to make sure any moisture that is collecting in that area gets dealt with and we don't get more mold. Mold is bad. Other things that happened this past week is the kids decided to do their own D&D campaign just out of the blue, and it was super cute. I was super proud of them. They did it for like 3 hours. They just hung out together and had a great time doing that. And I've received a couple things that I ordered this past week. I got a huge David's tea order. I love a lot of their teas. I got their tea advent. If you watched Vlogmas, you would have seen me opening their tea every day. In prior years, when I've gotten the advent, I've gotten like an amount of tea that would make like 5 cups of each thing of tea. So I always had a ton left over after my advent calendar. So I was kind of banking on that again this year. However, I have like 3 or 4 left, and they're mostly green teas that I'm saving for Mike to have. So I just decided to make an order. And I got a lot of Earl Greys because that's my favorite afternoon tea, and some cold 911. And I don't know, I took a picture of it all. I got a couple free things, and they had a set of like cold drinking cups that I'm going to put in the trailer where each of them is a different color. So now in the trailer we have color-coded cups. It's going to be great. The other thing that I ordered was from a company that I've never ordered from before, but they do use a lot for the dance school to order kind of like basics for costumes. Like Taylor got a shirt from there. It's called Sheen. I think that's how you say it. And Taylor and I and Grandma are going to Shenyun Ballet in March. And I don't really wear a lot of fancy clothes, and Taylor definitely doesn't have any fancy clothes. So I ordered some fancy clothes from there. And if I get this video done in time, I will include some of the try-on pictures from the fancy dresses that I got. So either you're seeing that at the end or right now, or I'll put it in maybe next time, or look for it on Instagram or something. So we will see when I get this edited and out to you guys, and if I've tried them on by then. So they're not the highest quality of fancy item, but I think for something that I'm only going to wear once, it was definitely cost effective. So we'll see how that goes. And I think that is everything on my list. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing this episode with all my current works in progress, quick update on things that I did last year, things that I'm looking forward to this year. I know it's already halfway through January, or more than halfway through January. This year is flying by, as it always does. But I hope you enjoy these weekly episodes, and we'll catch up with you guys next week. Bye.